The birthday balloon swayed gently. The candles flickered and laughter filled the mansion. But in the middle of all that luxury, a secret unfolded. A girl in a wheelchair shifted uncomfortably, her dress hiding the truth only she could feel. Suddenly, her body betrayed her, warmth spreading, fear rising. She whispered, her voice trembling, "Papa, that's wrong." Her father's smile froze. Guest turned, and in that single moment, celebration turned into shock. Family. What would you do if the happiest day of your life became the most humiliating? The golden chandeliers sparkled across the grand hall, each crystal catching light like fire. A string quartet played softly in the background, and rows of expensive roses lined the marble floor. The mansion was alive with laughter, clinking glasses, and the sound of cameras flashing. But in the far corner of the room, away from the dancing and chatter, sat a girl in a wheelchair. Her birthday, her party, yet she felt invisible. Her dress was beautiful, silk, delicate lace, the kind only a billionaire could buy, but she couldn't stop tugging at it nervously, wishing it made her feel normal. She glanced at the massive cake at the center of the room, 10 layers tall, shimmering with gold dust. People gathered around it, taking pictures, but none of them were looking at her. Her eyes shifted to her father, standing tall, commanding attention. Every guest laughed at his jokes. Every businessman clung to his words. To the world, he was untouchable. To her, he was unreachable. She whispered softly, almost afraid of her own voice, "Papa." No response. She tried again, a little louder. "Papa, can you come here, please?" He waved a hand without looking, his eyes fixed on a politician in front of him. "Father, not now. Can't you see I have and busy?" Her heart sank. She lowered her gaze, biting her lip to keep from crying. A maid leaned down beside her, her voice gentle. "Maid. Miss, are you all right? You step barely eaten anything." "Girl. I Ulden stet feel good. My stomach hurts. Something is stet different." The maid frowned, concern flickering in her eyes. She was about to say more when the father's booming voice interrupted. "Father, what are you doing, hovering there? Go serve the guests." The maid straightened, bowed slightly, and hurried off, leaving the girl alone again. She shifted in her wheelchair, feeling the warmth spreading, panic rising. She tugged harder at her dress, desperate to hide it, her voice breaking as she whispered again, "Papa, please. I need you." This time, he finally looked at her, but only for a second. His smile was tight, forced, the kind he wore for cameras. "Father, stop calling me like a child. You stare embarrassing me in front of everyone." Her lips quivered, tears burned in her eyes. "Girl, I said, not trying to embarrass you. I need help." He leaned down slightly, so only she could hear him. "Father, you sep ruined enough already by sitting in that chair tonight. Don't add to it. Stay quiet." The words cut through her like glass. She swallowed, trembling, but her body wasn't listening to her anymore. She shifted again, her hands gripping the armrest tight. A sharp pain made her gasp. "Guest. Is she all right? She looks pale." Other guest. "Probably just acting for attention. You know how spoiled rich kids are." Their laughter stung. She lowered her head, wishing she could disappear. The string quartet changed tunes, and the crowd clapped as her father raised a glass for a toast. Everyone's eyes were on him. No one noticed the tears sliding down her cheeks. She whispered one last time, her voice trembling like broken glass, "Papa, something's wrong with me." But her words drowned in the sound of applause. The ballroom was alive with golden light, chandeliers glittering like constellations. Laughter and music filled the air, the clinking of crystal glasses echoing under the high arched ceiling. Tonight was supposed to be perfect. It was her birthday, her sweet 16, a day every girl dreamed about. But behind her painted smile, she sat quietly in her wheelchair, her hands clutched nervously in her lap. Something was wrong. A strange warmth, a heaviness she didn't understand. Her heart began to race as whispers brushed her ears. Suddenly, she heard it. Giggles. Cruel. Sharp. Slicing through the music. "Look at her dress," one girl hissed to another, her voice dripping with poison. "Oh my God. Do you see it? She's bleeding." Another snickered, covering her mouth with fake shock. The girl froze. Her eyes widened. She looked down, and her soul shattered. Her silk birthday gown, the one her father had ordered from Paris, was stained, deep red, spreading, visible to everyone. Her breath caught. Her chest tightened. "No, this can't be happening," she whispered, tears already stinging her eyes. A boy at the corner burst into cruel laughter, pointing at her. "She can sit, even walk. And now this. What a disaster." The music faltered as more eyes turned, and whispers grew into waves of ridicule. "Disgusting. Pathetic. Poor little princess can sit, even control herself." She gripped the wheels of her chair, desperate to move, desperate to vanish, but her hands trembled too much. Her body betrayed her. She was trapped. And then came the deepest cut. Her father's voice, cold, sharp, filled with disappointment. "Stop crying. You stir embarrassing me in front of my guests." Her head shot up, her lips trembling. Father, I did instead. I can stead, control." "Enough," he hissed under his breath, leaning closer, his eyes like ice. "Do you know how many powerful men are in this room? Do you know the deals Ias made for tonight? And you, Sib, ruined it. On your own birthday." Her tears spilled freely now, streaking her makeup. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose this," she sobbed. But no one heard her cries. No one defended her. Her so-called friends stood back, some pretending to be horrified, others barely containing their laughter. Phones came out. Screens lit up. Pictures. Videos. Her shame captured forever. And the cruelest betrayal. The one person she thought would protect her, her father, turned away, leaving her to drown in the sea of humiliation. She whispered through trembling lips, "Why? Why does my own blood hate me the most?" The hall roared with mockery, the chandeliers above glittering like they too were laughing at her pain. The night of her humiliation replayed again and again in her mind. The laughter, the whispers, the look in her father's eyes. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the stain, the pointing fingers, the phones recording her downfall. For days, she didn't eat. She didn't speak. She just sat in her room, curtains drawn, staring at the floor. One evening, her nurse whispered gently, "You stare stronger than this. Don'll let them break you." Her lips trembled. "But I can set, even stand. I can set, walk. I must always be a prisoner in this chair." The nurse knelt beside her, holding her hand. "No, child, your body is weak. But your spirit, it's screaming to fight. And sometimes, the spirit can make the body follow." The words hit her heart, like a spark in the darkness. Days turned into weeks. Quietly, secretly, she began trying. First, tiny movements, shaking her legs, feeling the muscles ache, burn, tremble, falling, crying, but trying again. At night, she whispered to herself in the mirror, "I will not let them laugh at me again. I will not let him control me." One morning, her father barged into the room, frustrated after a failed business deal. "You stature still here? Still in that chair?" Pathetic. Tears welled in her eyes, but this time, she clenched her fists. "Not for long," she whispered. "What did you say?" he barked. She met his cold gaze with fire in her own. "I said, not for long. One day you still see me stand, and you won't be able to stop me." He scoffed and slammed the door, but for the first time her words weren't empty. The training grew harder. Physical therapy, endless exercises, pain so sharp it made her scream. But every scream was followed by a whisper. Again, again. Her nurse and one trusted teacher became her secret allies. They cheered her on as she took her first trembling steps between parallel bars, collapsing after only a second. But that second was enough. I stood, she cried, laughing and sobbing at once. Her nurse hugged her tightly. This and next time, you still stand longer. Months later, a miracle bloomed. She walked, shaky, stumbling, but walking. And with every step, she was no longer just a billionaire's paralyzed daughter. She was becoming something else. She was becoming unstoppable. The grand ballroom glittered with gold chandeliers. It was her father's 60th birthday, a celebration of power, wealth, and pride. The city's most powerful men and women were there. Politicians, businessmen, celebrities, all dressed in shimmering gowns and sharp suits. He stood at the center of it all, holding a glass of wine, smiling, pretending to be a man loved by everyone. But that night, the truth was about to shatter his world. From the back of the hall, a sound cut through the music. Stab, a stab, stab, a stab. The guests turned. Murmurs spread across the room. There she was, his daughter, dressed in a flowing silver gown, her hair cascading down her shoulders. No wheelchair, no nurse pushing her, just her, walking. Her legs trembled slightly, but her chin was high, her eyes unflinching. Gasps filled the air. Is that her? Someone whispered. She can walk? Another voice exclaimed. Her father's glass slipped from his hand and shattered against the marble floor. She stepped forward, every move echoing like thunder in the silence. Her voice was steady, but filled with fire. You told me is P'd never walk. You told me is P'd always be a burden. You humiliated me in front of the world, but look at me now. Her father Sisson's face twisted, anger replacing shock. This is a trick. You're weak. You'll always be weak, he shouted, his voice cracking. She laughed bitterly, her eyes glistening. Weak? No, father. Weak is a man who destroys his own child to protect his pride. Weak is a man who hides behind money because he has no heart. Gasps rippled through the hall. Gasps exchanged shocked glances. Some pulled out their phones, recording the scene live. Her father lunged toward her, trying to silence her, but before he could, she stepped back firmly, standing strong on her own legs. Don't touch me, she snapped. You don't control me anymore. She raised her voice so everyone could hear. You all see him as powerful, but you don't know the truth. This man mocked his paralyzed daughter. He let the world humiliate me. He told me I die in that chair. But tonight, I stand, not because of him, but in spite of him. The room erupted. Applause thundered like a storm. Some guests even shouted, "Bravo! Stay strong, girl." Her father's face went pale. The empire he built on lies was crumbling, and his daughter was the one tearing it down. She turned, her voice soft but sharp as a blade. Father, tonight, I walk away from your shadow. You lost me forever. And trust me, that a loss no money in the world can replace. And with that, she walked out, head high, strong, free. The cameras flashed. The applause followed her like a wave. Her father stood frozen, surrounded by whispers and stares. His kingdom was burning, and the fire came from his own blood. Family, life has a way of turning pain into power. Remember this, the ones who laugh at your scars today may one day clap for your strength tomorrow. So tell me, if you were in her place, would you forgive her father, or would you walk away forever? Comment your truth below. True strength is not measured by wealth or status, but by the courage to rise when the world swears you can't.